another thing that I hope that this gets you thinking about is actually project risks related to performance, load, and reliability testing, because most of these things that I've been talking about, well, I mean, some of them are quality risks, like stuff that happens when you scale things up, but a lot of these things are just project risks, like unrealistic test environments, use of self-generated load rather than more realistic load generation, and so forth. So make sure that you think about the project risks that can afflict performance, load, and reliability testing, because it's so resource intensive that it really is subject to a disproportionate number of project risks. Let's see. Gayatri says, thanks for the link. You're quite welcome. Let's see. And he asks then, how do the giant website owners like Google, Yahoo, Amazon, and others perform performance testing? What process or model do they follow and the infrastructure used? Well, obviously, if you're Google, if you're Yahoo, if you're Amazon, you are not going to test the quote-unquote production environment, because the production environment is immense, right? So you have to try to achieve realism in some other way. For example, by segregating your environment to different servers that do different things, and then very carefully measuring the kinds of load levels that come in the real world into those servers. And basically by producing a system that is where things are separated from other things, then we can test those things in isolation to a certain extent, provided that we're careful about watching for systemic choke points. So if you think back of the example I showed of the bank, where we were simulating a wide area network and a local area network, so we're actually going to have faster throughput. And the question we had to ask was, well, is that undermining the meaningfulness of our tests? So you'd have to look for those same kind of things of, are we testing in a way where data is actually flowing around faster than it would in the real world, or more directly than it would in the real world, or something. So the careful analysis is required in these situations, and it's going to be more risky. It is going to be more risky than in a situation where you've got a standard web server, application server, database server, and you can replicate that environment in your test lab and bang away on it. And so that, if you can't replicate the production environment, there are risks of unrealistic results. Manjulu says, thanks, Rex, for the information. We'll try to implement them. Good luck with that, Manju. Gayatri says, thank you, so you're quite welcome. Let's see. Another email question. Explain the concept of tip-over test more completely, please. So tip-over test, the idea is to gradually ratchet up the load, as I said, beyond what's supported, and then see whether the system fails in a way which could be considered graceful. Now, what graceful degradation or graceful failure means is, yeah, the system's going to go down at some point, or the system's going to start shedding users or rejecting new users or something at some point. But how does it do that? Does it do it in a way that is proportional to the amount of excess load and is as friendly to the user as can possibly be, and is totally safe in terms of data integrity and data quality and so forth? These are the kind of things that you're looking for in a tip-over test. And you want to try to do these things in scenarios where they're kind of realistic tip-overs, right? And you're increasing load in a way that you think corresponds to something that can happen in the real world. So, I've found those very useful and interesting tests to run. I really highly encourage you to try those. Always learn interesting things from that. Okay, so that gets us through the questions, and thank you for those of you who submitted questions. Always good to have dialogue with you guys. To close this session, let me tell you a bit more about the resources available. We run these free webinar sessions once a month, so check our website to sign up. We'll be announcing the next set of webinars here pretty soon, looking for probably adding maybe 4 or 5 more monthly webinars coming. They'll be on the website. If you want a special webinar presentation for your company only of this webinar or any other topic related to software testing, contact us at info@rbcs-us.com or via our website. If you don't receive our free newsletter, then sign up at www.rbcs-us.com, and that will get you discounts on consulting and training services in the newsletter, and featured article every other month, news about RBCS and its partners, so all sorts of interesting tidbits. You can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/RBCS and on Facebook at facebook.com/pages/RBCS-INC. And finally, check out the new digital library. We have recordings of these webinars, we've got podcasts, and we've got videos. For example, we've got a video series, a year-long video series of clips on key ideas in risk-based testing. And so you'll find that out there along with, as I say, the recordings of these webinars. So if you want to listen to it or have some of your colleagues listen to it, those are out there. And if you prefer iTunes, you can go onto iTunes and the iTunes store and enter RBCS software testing into the store search string and subscribe to podcasts. You can get both the videos and the audios of these webinars are available via those podcasts. So that's yet another way to access this. And all of this stuff is completely free, so no obligation there. All right, so thank you for your attention and for your participation, and I look forward to talking to you guys in about a month at the next webinar. Hope you'll all be there, and hope you'll bring a friend.